Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Town of Greenwich Planning and Zoning Commission being held virtually on Tuesday, June 9th, 2026. This afternoon, we have 4 postponements. Item number 2, 97 Havemeyer Place for a final subdivision. Nope, that's not a postponement, sorry. 22 Shoal Property LLC, item number 3 for a final coastal site plan to build a new single-family dwelling. Number 5, Grace Bay Holdings 2 LLC for a final site plan and special permit to construct a pool house at 71 Ridgeview Avenue. Number 6, Berkeley Insurance Company for a final site plan and special permit to demolish the existing non-conforming office building and reconstruct it on roughly the same footprint. That address is 475 Steamboat. Number 8, Sherwood, you're going to have to watch me tonight. Sherwood Farm LLC for a final site plan and special permit for the proposed rebuilding of a previously fire damaged cottage for storage and office space. Those are the postponements, and with that, we will begin with our first item, which is a decision item. It is the decision on Adam and Sarah Dolder for a final site plan and special permit to construct a 378 square foot addition to their pool house, creating an oversized 1,577 square foot accessory structure on a site in excess of 150,000 cubic feet in volume on a 7.34 acre property, including a 0.27 acre accessway located at 407 Round Hill Road in the RA4. And with that, Mr. Secretary, would you kindly make a motion?
Yes,
say all the same things.
407 Round Hill Road, final site plan special permit PLPZ 2026-149. Applicant seeking to approval to construct a 370 square foot addition to the existing pool house, reconfiguring existing stone wall adjacent to the pool house and associated drainage work and relocating the existing septic tank, further exceeding 150,000 cubic feet in volume on a 7.34 acre property located in the RA4 zone. Whereas the pool house, ice rink, locker room were approved under PLPZ 2021-084 by the Planning and Zoning Commission and received a final certificate of occupancy from the Planning and Zoning Commission on 5/16/24. Commission finds that conservation issued comments dated 6/4/26 indicating recommendations to the landscape plan. Zoning issued comments dated 5/21/26 indicating no issues with the project. Health Department issued a septic approval letter dated 5/14/26 for relocation of existing septic tank. DPW Engineering, the applicant submitted a drainage exemption dated 3/27/26. EMAC issued comments dated 4/30/26 indicating a favorable review. And Wetlands issued a permit needs questionnaire dated 4/8/26 indicating no action required. Therefore, a motion to approve the application for final site plan with the following conditions. Per conservation comments, the proposed planting plan is generally consistent with conservation objectives for the site. Ongoing landscape management should include monitoring and removal of invasive species and maintenance of native species to preserve habitat value. And the applicant shall address any and all remaining staff or interdepartmental issues.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Mr. Lowe has seconded. Mr. Lowe, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. McRae?
Aye.
Mr. Yeski?
Aye.
Sorry.
We're
Alban is
You,
three
You.
into it. We have three.
Yeah. Yes, and Alban is also aye. What we forgot is to say who was seated today.
Listed on the
Right.
listed,
Yes.
right?
Well, that's it. Mr. Wells is absent, and so there will only be 4 people seated on this application, as there were only 4 hearing it at the last, only 4 of us heard it at the last meeting before it was closed. So with those 4 votes, that's what the sudden pause was on my part. The motion passes 4-0, and my apologies. I hadn't focused on Arn being in Lithuania. Okay. And with that, we move on to 97 Havemeyer Place. Request to extend the Mylar filing for an additional 90 days at 97 Havemeyer in regard to a final subdivision. Oh, so while we're waiting for Mr. Brower to start talking, this seated alternate today is Madam Jones. Mr. Brower, go ahead.
Oh, good afternoon. This is pretty much a straightforward request. We're working on the approval requirements from the P and Z decision letter. And Jacqueline pointed out yesterday in the briefing session, the documents for the driveway and drainage easements, as well as open space documents, need to be approved by staff, law department, and conservation. And we're all working through that based on town model documents. But we just want to make sure we do have the time before the clock runs out.
Any questions from the commission? Any questions from the public? Please raise your virtual hand if you have any questions and you are in the public. Seeing no questions, is there any objection to closing this item at this time?
No,
No,
With that, this item is hereby closed, and Mr. Secretary, we would be grateful for a motion.
Okay, 97 Harrimeyer Place, PLPZ 2026-438. Applicant seeking a 90-day extension time to file the required subdivision record sheet Mylar on the Greenwich Land Records as required by Connecticut General Statutes and Section 6279 of the town's subdivision regulations. Whereas the project was approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission at the 3/3/26 public hearing. Therefore, a motion to approve the request for extension, noting the following: all conditions of the original 3/3/26 approval shall be continued, and the extension of time to record the record sheet is to September 21st, 26.
Do I have a second for that motion?
Second.
Ms. Jones has seconded. Ms. Jones, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Yeski?
aye.
Mr. McRae?
Aye.
Mr. Lowe?
aye.
Albin is also aye, and the motion passes 5-0. And with that, congratulations, Mr. Brower. That was a piece of cake, right? And with that, we go to the public hearing. Mr. Basili, are you good?
That was a public hearing.
Yes, all right,
No.
thanks.
All right, thank you. All righty. And again, on our next item, which is First Presbyterian Church of First Presbyterian Church of Greenwich for a final site plan and special permit. This is for the proposed construction of 1,110. Do we have the applicant? Lillian Fong and Mr. DeAndrea?
You should be getting promoted right now.
Okay. Again, for the proposed construction of 1,110 square foot indoor playground addition with associated site work for use by the existing nursery school on a 1.112 acre property located at 37 Lafayette Place in the RMF zone. Seated on this item is Madam Jones for Mr. Wells. And with that, applicants, please be my guests.
Good afternoon, members of the commission. I believe with me is Lillian Fong, who may or may
Yes,
not
she's right
want
there.
to.
Yep,
I'm here.
we're here. She's here. We can see her.
Okay, so
Thank-
everybody's present and accounted for.
Thanks,
So
Tony.
Is Mr. DeAndrea not on gallery view?
He is.
He is.
Okay, all right. Okay, go ahead.
All right, thank you. I will refrain to ask if you can hear me because I know you can.
Okay, good.
But I am representing the First Presbyterian Church of Greenwich Nursery School, the applicant who is proposing to construct an addition to the existing building that houses the nursery school with a footprint of about 1,100 square feet and an increase in coverage of about 819 square feet. Due to the fact that a portion of the addition is being constructed over some impervious area. The increased floor area is about 996 square feet for the record. We are proposing to maintain the southern side of the building at the setback of 30.5 feet from the southerly line. which is an extension of the building in accordance with 6-141 for the addition to this non-conforming building, non-conforming as to basically the use. Otherwise, setbacks are in accordance with our zoning regulations. We have developed a drainage plan to accommodate the increase in the runoff generated by the addition. That's in the form of galleries that are very shallow over existing ground. If you notice the design plan, you'll find that the top of the galleries is basically at existing grade, and the depth of the galleries that we're using is less than 2 feet. So there'll be very minimal disruption to the site. Due to the location of 2 trees within the area of the drainage and the addition, we proposed on our plan to relocate those to the southeast corner of the property. The southern and eastern portion of the property are maintained as a playground for the children, fully fenced and protected. There will be some modifications to the playground equipment after construction of the addition. That's governed, as you know, by input from the state fire marshal for access, ingress, and egress. So those are issues outside the immediate purview of the commission. What else do we have to speak about? We have a sewer permit for the repair of the existing lateral, which includes some construction at the main to repair a observed break at the connection of the main. So that's minimal amount of work, but there is a permit for that. We are aware of the concern by the conservation staff about the proximity of the construction of the galleries to the tree. As I mentioned a moment ago, the galleries are very shallow, minimal amount of earthwork. There will be some filling over the top of the galleries that doesn't extend up to the tree. So we're fully aware of the need for protection. I've spoken to representative of the church in the form of Miss Lillian Fong, and we all recognize, of course, that if the trees do not survive, we will certainly replace those. We have experience moving trees this size. Recently down on South Water Street, the tree warden insisted that we move an 8-inch cherry tree from the shoulder of the road between the curb and the sidewalk. It was successfully completed, and those trees are still alive today. So we have every confidence that we can move those trees without losing them. And I believe with that, I've hit all the high points and the comments from staff and concerns that were expressed at the briefing yesterday. If I've missed anything, I would be pleased to answer them directly.
Mr. McRae.
Mr. DeAndrea, all that playground equipment that's out there, the zip line, the ladder, the tires, and all that stuff, that where the galleries are going to go, that's all going to be relocated or put back in when its galleries are back in again?
I would like to yield to Lillian on that aspect as to exactly what the plans are for maintaining and replacing or relocating some of those pieces of equipment, many of which are made of wood.
Right. So we're working with the state for the approvals for the change to the playground. The existing sandbox will be moved from where it is now down the hill because the indoor playground is going to be built where the current sandbox is. So other than that, anything that needs to be taken down for construction and put back up, we're working with the state on the locations that they approve for us.
Mr. McRae, are you headed to us having a complete delineation prior to zoning permit? Exactly where everything's going to be relocated, and they could put it all on the.
We could.
on
We
the
don't
same
have it.
plan.
We don't have it now, but it'd be a good thing to have just in case. And I would
Right,
say prior to,
Well, yeah, remember that those are that some of those are structures. If Patrick will weigh in on that, but some of that playground equipment is deemed a structure, so it should be shown on a site plan. And he's nodding. Okay, so I'm good. So since it is a structure, it should be on the site plan. So what we could require is a plan that shows all the play structures, all the play equipment, as well as where those cherry trees are going to be relocated, and get everything in one get everything at once into one plan. Patrick,
The sandbox is the main thing that's being moved, and that's on Tony's plan.
Patrick?
Yeah, I would just clarify that any object or any structure is something that's over 6 feet in height, so that would need to be
The sandbox is not.
located. The sandbox is not, and then I would also, because I always forget to say this, pools are also structures as well. So if they're of a certain depth, they do need to be marked on the survey as well. But you're correct. 6 foot is the limit for.
But I would say that we ask that the sandbox be included as well, that everything, so that somebody looks at it down the road, they pull out the site plan, oh, look, here's where everything is.
Yep.
And here's where the tree was relocated that survived or didn't survive. And also, Mr. DeAndrea and Ms. Fong, we would ask you that if the cherries don't survive, that you would, I just to, as you know, both the cedar that's being protected and the cherries that are being relocated, that you replace anything that fails.
Yes.
How long, I mean, because you really have to give those replacements a year.
Mhm.
Hopefully you'll be planting in cool enough weather that you have a higher chance, but sometimes they don't take well.
I'm sorry, do we need to stipulate, if something happens to the cedar, what that will be
That's-
replaced?
Well, it would be replaced with a cedar of,
How many?
what's the normal caliper we request in a?
It's
we
like
have
2 or 3 inches is all they
Yeah,
replace things
we
with.
could request, yeah, we'd have to, here's the trick, as you know. You asked to replace it with a bigger tree, they have less adaptability. So you're actually better off for the short-term adaptability. You
No,
you don't
I
get the
understand
growth.
that. I'm saying, is it one tree, 1-to-1? Are we asking for more? I mean,
think I would ask for one because that's what doesn't make it, and we'd cross our fingers very hard that they put in good protection. Good that the tree be protected and that it survive. the
But if it's to
activity.
be replaced, will it be replaced by 2 or 3 or just one?
One, I would say one, but it's up
Okay.
to you guys. It's our vote.
right.
It's 5 of us. So if y'all would prefer more than one, we can ask the applicant.
I think that's, actually, you've been around a little longer than I have doing this, so I thought the custom
but,
was
you
2
know,
or
we had a-
3.
We had a conversation with Patrick this morning that we're evolving in how we look at trees and landscaping all the time. That this has been a huge evolution for us in the last few years.
Well, I need to
um,
catch up then. Okay.
No, it's up to you guys. And also what the applicant says. Young trees aren't that expensive for the applicant to put in, and shaded areas are great for playgrounds. So Mr. McRae, you still have your hand up.
Oops, sorry about that.
That's okay. And now Brooks.
Yes, thank you. I might have missed it, but I think there was also possibly a willingness to commit to not moving the cherry trees if they're nesting birds in them, and there was going to be
We're
some.
waiting for you.
Okay. So I would just add that to the request or the stipulation or whatever we're doing here. That's a very important consideration. And then even though I don't have a vote, I think that in other jurisdictions where large caliper trees are replaced, the standard is typically some subset of the DBH in terms of new trees. But, Marguerite, you've already weighed in here, so I don't want to
I'm
muddy the
open
waters too
to,
much.
no, I'm open to what the rest of you think. And also what the applicant's comments are. Ms. Fong, do you have any comment on that? If your cedar were to fail, would the church be willing to put in more than one? It's not mandatory in our regulations, but we're always looking for shade and canopy.
Sure, I think they'd have to evaluate the playground. I mean,
Okay.
we'll replace one for one, but if we can put another
Okay.
cedar, but
The applicant to replace, should the cedar fail, the applicant to replace at least one, to replace it and consider 2 or 3.
And they
Okay.
could, the others could be, excuse me, but the others could be of a different
Yep.
ilk, right? So
Yep.
that might be more appropriate
Yep.
as you evaluate the situation, Ms. Fong.
okay.
Mr. Yeski.
Yeah, I read Patrick's letter. The CEO doesn't seem to have an issue, but there is 2 caveats. One, FAR doesn't seem to be a problem. Parking might be. Is the applicant doing anything different in the indoor playground? Because there's an issue about parking if they're doing additional operations for bringing more people in, more activities. Okay,
No, it's the
that's all I
same.
needed.
The enrollment does not change. The teachers that are working there does not change. Administration does not change. Parking stays the same. They're just basically offering a safer indoor environment for the kids when it's cold and raining, and then they're going to use it year round or
Okay, thank you.
5 days a week.
Okay.
And Lillian, if I may add,
Yes.
in your narrative, you also pointed out that the part of the addition is to give a more direct route for the children
Yes.
out of the building for
Yes.
safety and access, rather than walking through a circuitous route through other classrooms.
Right.
And then-
So right now, in order to get to the playground, they have to walk through a classroom to get out to the playground. So this is a direct route. So if they're
Perfect.
in the motor skills, they can go out without disrupting another class.
That's fantastic. Mr. Lowe, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I put it back up, sorry. I actually didn't have it up. I just interrupted everybody. So apologize. Do we need to confirm the nature of the non-conforming?
Yes, what,
sorry.
yeah, we will have to make a finding in the motion that the proposed work, we have to use the words that we got from Patrick, which are also in the in 6141, that it creates that is no more non-conforming and is not more deleterious, I believe is the word we use. Is it deleterious? I can never remember the word we use in the regs to the use, to the zoning. So we would just have to make that finding. For those of you who did not see Patrick's email, he conferred with the ZEO, and the ZEO's opinion, as long as you were not expanding the nonconformity, but going along the line of the nonconformity, you were okay. And that is the understanding I had from the past, that as long as you were within the existing nonconformity. But we would have to make the finding that it is no more non-conforming, particularly since of the potentially tight parting, no more non-conforming and no more, it is deleterious, right?
Well,
Detrimental,
materially adversely,
No, it's no more detrimental to the neighborhood.
Detrimental, it's a D
It's-
word. It's
That
a
is
D
also
word.
only for a change of use, which is not what's going on here.
Right.
Okay.
So you do not
Okay.
need to make
So
that
we don't
finding
need to
today.
make that finding. Okay. I thought you had it in your email. Sorry, Patrick. Okay, so we don't have to make the no more detrimental. But that it is not increasing the it is not expanding the nonconformity.
Mhm.
And then,
Simple. May I?
yes, excuse me. Yes, Tony,
I just want-
Mr. DeAndrea.
Perhaps just summarize it a little more simply. It does not create the need for additional parking. It does not exceed the allowable floor area ratio. And it does not decrease any setback of the existing building.
Right, and in our language, that's no more non-conforming.
Thank you.
So,
Agreed, just for the
it's good.
record.
And we'll put all the blurdy blurb into the letter, but for the motion, we'll just keep it in short if we were to move this forward. Anything else from the commission? We've got, so we would ask you if there's nesting birds. That's a question that you remember, Mr. DeAndrea, we did the eagles on a shore property once. I think that might have been your application. Yes. And of course,
Right.
the first time
My-
we ever heard what a slimy salamander was.
In this
And
case,
and the
in
maiden
this
turtle.
case, you know, in this case, in my observations while I was there, while it was in early spring, we didn't see any particularly, but also each time I walked to my bird feeder, the birds removed themselves quickly. So,
Oh, but they don't, but only to be mad, okay?
But
So
we
I have a
also wa-
nesting robin, and anytime I walk towards my gate, she comes out and she gives me a talking to not get near her nest. So she leaves her nest, but it is to tell me that I'm intruding. So you'll know if you're intruding.
well, it will require an inspection.
Right.
not-
Yes,
Not just
okay.
a,
All right.
a specific
Yeah.
inspection.
Yeah, people will know. Anything else from the commission?
nothing for me,
Okay.
thank you.
I think it's a great idea personally, Ms. Fong. I
Thank
think it's
you.
great to have that indoor that indoor moving space for kids,
Mhm.
because after this winter, I'm sure a lot of them were going stir crazy, and they're little and
Yeah.
they're full of energy.
Right.
Any comments from the public on First Presbyterian Church of Greenwich's proposed construction of an indoor playground addition at their daycare site at 37 Lafayette Place? Any comments from the public? Seeing no comments from the public, anyone opposed to closing this application at this time?
No.
This application is therefore hereby closed, and we will move on. Our next application is number 7, which is Coleman Holdings LLC. Who's the applicant on this? Mr. Tessie, I think?
No, Mr. Thomason on this one.
Thomason, okie dokie. Oh, I remember the one Mr. Tessie's doing. It's one where I was having trouble with the math. All right.
Not
let me
Mr.
move-
Tessie, Madam Chair.
No, well, we won't confuse you. We promise.
Okay.
But sometime they'll have to do their "we're the same person" skit for you.
Okay.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Thomason. The next application is Coleman Business Holdings LLC for a final site plan and special permit to convert existing office space, a legally non-conforming use, into apartments, another non-conforming use in the zone. That was probably pursuant to those zoning regulations on a 0.43 acre property located at 23 Maple Avenue in the R20 zone. Mr. Thomason, if you would proceed.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the commission. Michael Thomason from Hegney, Linden and Slane on behalf of the applicant Coleman Business Holdings. We're here today on a straightforward application to convert 2 dental offices into apartments in a building that already has 3 existing residential apartments. The two spaces subject to the application were dental practices, oral surgeries for a number of years. The tenants left. The owner had difficulty reletting those spaces, which led to the decision to seek to convert those spaces to apartments. We had the opportunity to listen to the briefing yesterday. There was a significant amount of discussion on the litigation from the 1990s and late 80s and early 90s. And I discussed it with our client. I had previously looked at all of those files, and my takeaway was essentially, I don't think that we need to spend too much time focusing on that. And my review of those, first of all, my review of those site plan files was I had thought that those were all or almost entirely related to number 11 and not 23. But I don't think that it really matters, because I think that we're here, again, we're focusing on the 6-141, not more detrimental to the neighborhood standard for the conversion. And there's nothing that I saw in those files, even if they were about 23, that would prohibit what we're seeking to do here. So I didn't think that it was worth the time to, provide a detailed memorandum on that litigation, because again, I didn't see anything in what I did review that would suggest that we couldn't do what we're doing. Other than that, we submitted an energy narrative outlining the efficiencies that we're hoping to obtain as a result of these conversions. There's no exterior site work planned, and we respectfully ask for your approval. You're muted, Madam Chair.
Sorry. Thank you. Mr. McRae.
Mr. Thompson, what's going on in the basement? Just storage? Because there's a bathroom in the plan.
Storage and mechanical. I'm just pulling up the basement floor plan now. Basement existing. Oh, I see. There's a bath. There is certainly no occupancy, or anyone's not living down there. I will tell you that right now.
Okay.
But I don't know. I don't have any detailed information beyond what's in the plan as to what's going on in the basement.
Okay, great. Second thing, actually, you indicated that there's no change to the facade. Can you just verify with the design team that the change from office to residential, that the bedroom egress windows are of a size that won't require any change to the facade?
Great.
Specifically because the this facade itself actually is it's quite nice and has some really great stonework, so on and so forth. It'd be kind of a bad thing, in my opinion, actually, if you had to pull out some of these windows and put big windows in.
Yes, I will absolutely do that. I'm just pulling up the participant list to see if our design build Salvatore Zarella is in the audience. I don't know if we want to promote him if he has that information. We are replacing the windows, but the design is going to be like for like. They're weight and pulley now, and they're going from single pane to double pane is the plan. So there's not say changes to sizing going on that I'm aware of. But Salvatore, if you have that information,
I'm trying to promote him and he's not accepting it.
okay.
Ever since you said his name, I've been trying and he's not coming in.
Think he's coming in now, man.
There he goes. Okay. Okay, Mr. Zarella, if you would, were you able to hear Mr. McRae's question?
He's on
And
mute.
if you would unmute. I shouldn't have gardened so long yesterday. Mr. Zarella, if you would unmute.
Hello, this is
There he is.
Salvatore
Okay.
Zarella.
Hello.
Thank you very much. Yes, I did hear the question and I would like to just clarify the question. So the question is just to be poignant is, are we removing existing windows within the dwelling? Is that what I understood?
No.
No, are the windows, go ahead, Nick.
Are the
Sorry.
windows in the bedrooms need to be replaced to meet egress requirements?
So thank you for that. So the intention for the windows in the bedroom is to take the windows and turn the sashes, one of the units into egress units, but maintain the appearance and preserve the appearances of the weighted double hung windows.
So the masonry openings as we see them today will not change?
There are no masonry openings in any of the bedrooms and predominantly throughout the building that are going to change, with the exception of basement windows, which are obsolete in the rear, that are not in Q. Otherwise, all of the windows will and the masonry openings as intended will remain.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Any other questions from the commission? Mr. Leroux, did you have any comment on I know you mentioned it yesterday, but just for the record, did you have any comment as regards to settlement?
Yeah, so again, the settlement is between the town or the commission, the town and the applicant. We have the commission, the commission is the we here. We have taken action on these items before, and so this is now the second or third application for the site. So the commission is free to reach an agreement under the regulations with the applicant to reuse the site. So.
And I didn't see any response from EMAC regarding the energy narrative.
I did not perceive anything either, Madam Chair.
I don't recall any other department comments being outstanding at this time, except for the EMAC. Is that the only one that we're missing?
Correct.
Okay. Also, for the record, Mr. Thomason already referred to it, but both of these are non-conforming uses, as we discussed yesterday in the zone, both the dental office as well as the residential, because the residential is multifamily and this is a single family zone. However, this use, and this is Tracy, I think this is where my head was, this use Their argument is that it is no more detrimental. It requires less parking and than currently provided. And in addition, it would be less vehicle trips, less trip generation with a residential use and with an active dentist office, which, as you know, is what one compares to, is to what would happen if it was very active. So I just wanted to put on the record that the proposed use is no more detrimental than the existing. And in fact, we would find it less so. If there are no further questions from the commission, I'll turn it to public comment. Does anybody from the public wish to ask any questions in regard to this application at 23 Maple Avenue to convert the dentist offices to apartments? Any comment? All right, seeing no comments, does anyone on the commission object to closing this application at this time?
Madam, I'd like to keep this open. I want to check something before we make a decision on this.
Okay, all right. In that case, since we discussed the window openings, could we add, there are two things. They did receive sewer comment, correct? Okay, and the acknowledgement, I didn't see the acknowledgement. That was why I was asking before. Did you?
Mr. Thomas.
I don't have it.
We can provide that.
Okay, so just if you would, we would if you would provide the sewer acknowledgement, the window measurements for the bedrooms, as long as we're doing this, I know Mr. Zarella said he was okay. If we could just get the window measurements and ensure. The other thing, if you don't do that part, we could just condition it. We're going to include the list of conditions from the fire marshal anyway, because now he's sending his list of approval conditions, which is very helpful. So we could do that. Mr. McRae, is what you're going to check, could we close the application and then you check it and we decide it next time? So we don't have.
Oh,
to
yeah, I think we
generate-
can do that. Yeah, it's
Okay.
just something I need to verify.
Okay, that's fine. And then once you've checked it.
Yeah, we probably
it's
could get this on whatever the next meeting is.
the next meeting, and okay, so that at least we don't have to generate another staff report on it.
Right, so
All right.
it's sewer, EMAC, and
Sewer, EMAC, both of those are internal to us to know that that's completed. And then we would just check the window measurement, and then all of that is internal, and we can just make the
Okay.
decision at the next meeting.
Mr. LaRoe, I don't even see sewer comment.
Yeah,
They came in
separately.
Monday
okay.
afternoon, it could have been this
Okay.
morning.
Okay, I'll look again in my.
Yeah,
Came
I
in
had-
about
I couldn't-
4:30 yesterday.
Yeah, I had missed them, and that explains it, because sometimes on Mondays, my emails don't all come in. So the sewer comments, Mr. Thomas, and the acknowledgement, because your flows are going to be different.
Correct.
I can't imagine it's going to be a huge difference, but again, and I don't know if I didn't read the sewer comments. I don't know if your sewer line is an issue here at all. I would guess that with 2 apartments, you are not jeopardizing the town's capacity, but it's always good. I would like to see them. Okay, so those are the things we're going to do, but we can close the item and we could just act on it, because all that is internal and not external information. Therefore, is there any objection to closing this item at this time?
No.
Seeing no objection, this item is hereby closed, and we will decide it at the next meeting, Mr. Thomason.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All righty, and with that, we go to the last item on the public hearing, which is the Planning and Zoning Department. Excuse me? Okay, the Planning and Zoning Department for a series of zoning text amendments. And this is to comply with Special Act 25-1, which is known as the Housing Bill. And it is the Housing Growth Bill, more specifically. For those of you who are not familiar and are listening, this implementation of this statute will happen over the next 3 years, essentially we will complete our implementation of what is required of us at this point by July 1 of 2029. At that point, we will have submitted to the state our housing growth plan. And in it, we will have outlined how we will achieve the housing growth target that will have been assigned to us by the region, which will have developed it from the numbers assigned to it by the state. We expect that that housing growth target will be a combination of affordable units and market units and mid units, but that we will have an overall target and it will be split down. Patrick and I came across a preliminary set of numbers about a month ago that OPM was working on, and it was divided that way. So we have that full expectation. When we submit that plan, we're going to have to explain how we will achieve those targets. There are some incentives from the state for setting out to achieve those targets, but many of them do not apply to a town our size. The first phase of implementation starts as of July 1st of this year, and that is to change current regulations in certain regards. And for that, I'm going to turn it over to Patrick and Tracy to talk about what we're doing right now at the moment, effective July 1st, as we hope to do. Our changes are currently before the region, the Western Connecticut Planning Region, for review. And now Tracy and Patrick are going to explain what those are. Go ahead, you guys.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to go back again, this is the housing bill that was vetoed originally or the version of this was vetoed by the governor in the summer of 25, and then special session happened, and this was approved in October. The first phase for most of the state happened on July 1st, regarding as of right 2 to 9 unit developments in commercial zones. The town of Greenwich does not restrict units by number in commercial zones already, so we did not have to amend our regulations at this time. At that time, I should say, to comply with the state law. And then those types of developments, those 2 to 9 developments, are subject to what the state is now referring to as summary review, which essentially is a site plan application process, a zoning application process without a public hearing. And again, without too much definition from the state, it essentially is going to look exactly like many of our site plan applications. So it is not an additional review. It is in some ways a slightly truncated review, with also an additional focus on traffic safety that is not explicitly in our regulations now for site plans, but it is for special permits, and it will be for summary review. In addition to that, the July 1st date also requires that towns have no parking minimums for developments of 16 units and less. Against residential multifamily developments of 16 units or less, there is no minimum parking required by zoning in the state come July 1st. So our regulations are amended to support that. There is some not clawback, but there is some towns to be able to respond to that by doing traffic analyses. But again, even if there's found to be an issue with traffic and safety, the number of parking spaces that can be allowed per unit is no greater than 2. In addition to that, there's a caveat to allow for a special transit and conservation district in which the town may adopt a map for which those properties in it are going to be subject to those traffic analyses when they are proposing to have any multifamily residential units. We have that in the language right now. The map itself we are working on, and we will bring to the commission for a vote in the next few weeks. But it is not part of this, and it's not required to be adopted by July 1st.
Anybody, I know we've talked a lot about it. Does anybody have any questions? Oh. Does anybody from the public wish to comment on what is now proposed, on what we are proposing in terms of the amendments? Please raise your virtual hand. Any comments from the public? Right. Again, they're going to be available on the website. Patrick?
Sorry, you had mentioned before, we have received comments from our COG on this, and they've again find it substantially compliant with the state statute and a local matter. We are waiting for the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection. They have a 35-day window, and that will end between this meeting and our next. So presumably, if the commission is ready after tonight, we can possibly vote on it at our next meeting.
Perfect. Yeah, I had promised Tracy one more proofread. Because then we live with them, right? So nobody having any comments. The map implementation will take longer, correct?
We are pretty close to having a map that's ready for public view and for the commission to look at. It's just it's not it's not something that needs to be done before July. But
Yes,
we
but if-
certainly can get the process going and discuss.
Well, if we had an application and we didn't have the map in place, once it's July 1st, we wouldn't have any way of requiring parking unless it was a health and safety issue, correct?
Parking per the new state law would be only allowed under certain conditions that of safety. And again, limited to the number. We couldn't require more than 2 spaces per unit.
And we wouldn't be able to require, without the map, we wouldn't be able to require even the 1 and 2.
Oh, for units, I'm sorry.
For certain
The
size
2 and 9,
developments.
2 through 9.
Yeah, certain size developments. So 16 or less would have no minimums anywhere in the state unless there was one of these districts. Yeah.
Right, so we have to move quickly to protect our traffic impact zones.
Correct.
Because if we don't get it very close to July 1, we could end up with an application for which we cannot require parking. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, so even though there's not a mandatory implementation, we're working very quickly to get that done because otherwise we're exposed.
Well, exposes, I don't know if I'd use that word, but there would be an opportunity for someone to make an application and not be subject to that map.
Yeah, I would consider that an exposure because it means you could end up with an application which, if the applicant chose not to offer parking, you wouldn't be able to require any. Right? And
Correct.
there are areas of town where that would be a risk. Now, again, to your point, I guess what you're saying is if it's a risk, it's health and safety. It's primarily going to be health and safety. And hopefully you would be able to require parking on that basis.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So with that, we would leave this item open until our next meeting. And we would hopefully be able to act on it at our next meeting.
Correct.
Okay. I seeing no objections. No objections? Okay, this item is therefore continued to our next meeting.
Did we do public comment? I'm sorry if I
Yes, we
missed
did.
it.
We did.
Okay.
Yeah, we did.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay.
Did.
Just want to make sure we got it covered.
Okay. All righty. Mr. Basili, it's time to say goodnight, Gracie.
Okay, good night. See you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
See you in 2 weeks. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
And with that, we'll go to our discussion items. Mr. Lowe is appointed our second timekeeper along with Mr. LaRoe as the primary timekeeper because I'm not good at it for these. And our first discussion item is Ethan Black. Is Mr. Black here? Mr. Black, if you're here, would you kindly raise your virtual hand?
If anyone's here representing Club Pilates or 1381 East Putnam Ave, please raise your hand.
Anybody representing Club Pilates?
These people are probably shocked that at this hour we're getting to the discussion items.
Oh, well,
I did
That's it,
email them
listen.
before we started the
In
meeting to
fact,
let them
no
know.
less shocked than we are. I might
Right.
think.
1381 East Putnam Avenue. Anybody here representing? Okay, we'll ask again after we get through the other discussion items. Our next item is Burning Tree Country Club at 120 Perkins Road in the RA2. Who is representing that applicant?
That would be Mr. Tessie or Mr. Bristol, who I think are both here, right?
I saw them.
Oh, Mr. Tessie's here.
Yep. There he is. I'm not sure he's at his computer.
We're doing
All
well
right.
tonight.
Okay, we're going to go on to Sacred Heart. And, oh, he's coming. Here he comes. Okay. Oh, we were going to skip you, Mr. Tessie. All righty. So with that, Burning Tree Country Club for a pre-application. This is to the construction of a 45 by 62 fabric covered structure to store maintenance equipment on a 158 acre property at 120 Perkins Road in the RA2. And with that, Mr. Tessie, if you would proceed.
Actually, Mr. DeAndrea was leading the charge, but I'm happy.
Okay, we'll get Mr.
get him up.
DeAndrea then.
Madam Chair, before we get going, I'd just like to ask a question
Yes, of course.
to Mr. Tessie or Mr. DeAndrea.
Of course.
Has this structure already been installed?
This, that, the groundskeeper at, Burning Tree installed this, what he viewed as a temporary structure, not realizing you needed a permit for that. So that, I think there was a complaint. And as a result of that, the structure was, the fabric was removed from the skeleton, for lack of a better word, right? And then Mr. DeAndrea was hired to deal with the wetlands and also zoning. And here we are today. So
So I'm very clear on this.
yeah,
The foundation, the frame, and at one time, the fabric covering had been installed.
I believe that's the case because
Okay.
that's what prompted the
Great.
complaint.
Thank
I
you.
don't know if there's a foundation per se.
The
but-
mafia
but-
blocks or whatever.
But
it
whatever
sits
he
on.
did, I
don't call
don't,
them
was out,
that.
I haven't been out to I've been to the course, but I didn't walk over there. Played golf instead. So, Tony could better answer that in terms of having visited the site itself specifically. I know it very well, but Tony, you want to elaborate on that subject?
I'm ready to elaborate and respond to some of the comments that were made yesterday to clarify those issues. So if I may, I am representing Burning Tree Country Club in this application, and it was a pre-application, so I'll go through the high points and the low points. The low points are that the installation of this, I call it fabric covered structure, was installed by the superintendent without thinking it through or asking the right people as to what would be involved in doing so. So John and I got a call and said, wait a minute, we got a complaint. There's a structure up there. I said, well, let's go investigate. So we did. At that time, there was a foundation in the form of jumbo concrete blocks in the dimensions that you've just quoted. And on top of that is a metal framework. And on top of the metal framework made out of pipes, this is a manufactured structure. There is a fabric covering. At the time, the fabric was new, had a little bit of a sheen to it, and it was noticed, and rightfully so, by a neighbor on Perkins Road. So we proceeded to prepare an application to the Wetlands Agency as the first step, precursor to coming to P&Z for a site plan, also in advance of the pre-application. So in the case of the Wetlands Agency, we presented a plan that included reducing the size of the area that's used for periodic storage of material generated on the golf course. For those of you who have played golf at Burning Tree, as you leave the 11th hole, you climb a hill toward the 12th tee, which is elevated off to your right, if you will, and you probably wouldn't have noticed it. There's an area that's been there since the club was constructed somewhere around 1968, and it's a staging area, I call it, for dumping, if you will, on the surface, piles of mulch, branches, and other things generated during the normal course of operation of the golf course. Seasonally, they'll generate some trimmings during the winter. They'll bring in a chipper and they'll chip it. The maintenance facility over at the end of Interlaken, if you will, between the end of Perkins and the entrance from Interlaken, is the main maintenance building. It's fairly constrained. During the summer, there are more than 20 employees, and the equipment that they use in the summer is different than what they need to use during the winter. So what they're proposing to do is take the winter machinery, plows, vehicles, shovels, whatever, that they don't need during the summer and place them up there. In response to comments yesterday, there's no fuel. Those machines that are used in the winter, we don't need, while they're stored there in the summer for winter use, you don't need to be driving them or fueling them. So there's no fuel up there. So when it became apparent that this was a need of a formal application process, the fabric cover was removed. And then when we filed for the application to P&Z, the pre-app, and then we've also filed for a site plan approval and special permit, the pipe frame has also been removed. What you have up there now is a series of a U-shaped concrete block, call it a foundation. It's on top of the ground, and the ground is as I show it on my plan, surrounded on the west by a steep drop down to a water course and wetlands that were defined by Bill Kenny. On the north side, we've proposed to restrict the extension of it by placing boulders around it to delineate it in order to address the water quality of the runoff from the area. We proposed a rain garden on the eastern side before it drops down over a significant ledge formation. The water course that we show wrapping around from the north to the western side is the only outlet of the water from the course, which, if any of you have ever seen it during a storm, is in fact a storage area for the whole watershed. And the depth of the water is significant. So volume is not the issue. So water quality is, we presented a plan to the Wetlands Agency and the DPW, and we have an approval in the form of a wetlands permit to construct the rain garden that will intercept the natural flow to the eastern side, filter the water, and let it percolate down through the porous material, which is years of mulch and what else can I say? Mulch, chipper, wood chips. A condition of the wetlands permit is to plant a row of green giants, as you know them. I know that some members of the commission at one time expressed disfavor for green giant arborvitae, but that's what we're proposing to use as screening along the western side at the top of the slope. In a couple of years, they'll be much taller than they are when they're planted, and they will provide tremendous screening. For those of you who have ventured up into the area, you'll see, or you won't see, anything to the west toward Perkins Road because of the dense canopy of the deciduous trees in the valley, and then climbing up the hillside toward Perkins Road. So that's it in a nutshell. No deleterious material is stored up there. Periodically, they assign an outside consultant, if you will, chipper, contractor to chip up anything that they generate. They can do some of it themselves, but it's one of those things that it's easier for the right company with the right equipment to come in all at once, chip it up, take it away, or use the material elsewhere on the course. So there's nothing new about the use of the area as a staging and stockpile area, which has been there since the course was constructed. Mr. Yeski asked yesterday how you get there. There's a cart path that runs from the clubhouse all the way around the course. It's paved and it's accessible. It's not sufficient to carry a 14-wheeler dump truck. These are small vehicles, golf course carts, and just small machines that can handle the width of the golf carts. If you drive up the cart path, you have to crane your neck and look back southeast, or in this case, northwest, to look into the area. I played there many years before I realized it was there, because in this time of the year, you can't see it. And that's the gist of the application. At this time, the blocks are on the ground. There's no fabric up. There's no pipe frame on it. When the leaves are in full bloom, you can't see from inside the course, and you can't see from Perkins Road the structure. There was a comment made yesterday as to a prohibition of pickleball on the tennis courts. We have copies which we can certainly share with the commission, because you issued them. There was no condition that would prohibit that. John Tessie, attorney for the club and a member of the club, can expound on that more than I, because his office presented the applications.
We better.
Well, I sent, just to interject, I did send you and Patrick, I guess about an hour or so ago, copies of the both the Board of Appeals,
which I have here,
special
yes, sir.
exception, and the Planning and Zoning Commission.
The prior approval. We better check, we need to check all the approvals, because I have a very distinct memory of Mr. Yeski raising it
I
on Burning Tree.
just so you understand, that tennis court was used for pickleball before that application went in for the dome. So there's pickleball, when it's in the dome, you don't hear it. But the outside use of that particular tennis court, which is a DecaTurf court, and it's a hard court for pickleball, was used before that time. And I think the time we got approval for that tennis court, there was no such thing as pickleball.
That's right, 2016.
Yeah. The other comment I'd like to make is simply that, and certainly Mr. Yeski knows, probably everybody realizes, we have a tremendous shortage of upland to work with at Burning Tree. And that's been problematic.
I'm sorry, a shortage of what? I'm sorry.
Upland.
Upland. In other words, the club would never be there if the wetlands.
It's in a swamp.
was
Yeah, I
involved.
got it.
Right. So that limits the areas where you can really build. The club always looks at properties coming on the market in the area. They love to have more housing. They have housing now in the clubhouse as approved by the commission, but when something comes up, they try to look at it. But the whole area is pretty rough in terms of topography. So that's how it wound up, where Steve, the Wickstrom, thought it would be a good idea because he's limited on his maintenance facility capacity. And this is a summertime use for storage there of basically fall and winter equipment. So it's not like it's going to be going out in and out on a regular basis. That's for storage during the season, because obviously there's more attention and more need in the maintenance facility during the golf course season, which basically is from March. Well, it's basically March to November nowadays.
Okay, Mr. Tessie, we got that. So
Okay, that's fine. I'm done with.
You got three people waiting to ask questions. Mr. Lowe.
Sure.
Yeah. First question on that last topic you just raised. Where is the equipment that is anticipated or is currently being stored at this site? Where was it, or is it, or was it being stored prior to placing it in this area?
Yes, it's stored in the as you drive into the club, if you have from Interlaken Drive, there's a maintenance facility on the right side of the driveway driving in to the main body of the course. And you'll see there that some things are outside. The maintenance facility is, fairly large, but it is cumbersome during the season because they have more activity going on maintaining the course. And he just didn't logistically, he had a lot of problems protecting certain equipment where he wanted it at least covered with it in the type of facility that he erected, which he shouldn't have.
John,
And
Richard,
during the time during the time it's going to be static and get it out of the way of the
Right. Okay, so golf courses in general have been expanding their maintenance facilities for a host of reasons.
Yeah.
So I'm not, this is probably very typical. The citing of to cite CITE that this golf course is, as I said, built kind of on a swamp or a former swamp.
Absolutely.
Yeah, is occasioning kind of a lot of pressure, I would think, on the course and the course management and its maintenance. And is it safe to say that this is the use of this area does not represent an expansion of the maintenance and machinery that other than perhaps pickup trucks that have plows attached to it or whatever, but there's no anticipated use here for in-season equipment or materials. Is that safe to say? Or and what sort of pressure? Because I think these golf courses are under a lot of pressure to upgrade their maintenance facilities, and this would be arguably a logical extension of that. And if it's an expansion, we have to use that word guardedly because in as opposed to intensification. If it's either or both of those things, and if the club is under pressure because they've run out of space, we should probably know that.
Well, the under pressure from a standpoint of just storage, with some type of protection, which has been an issue right along, really. But equipment's getting more and more expensive. We like to make protect it and have it last longer. This facility is not for active use. It's for static use.
We got it.
Storage. So they're not going to be driving in and out.
We got
every
it.
morning, which they do from the prime maintenance facility to service the course for storage.
if I, can I?
It's coming
if I
down.
may-
Let me just interject another thing. And that's proven because once the season has wind down, that fabric is going to come off. That fabric will come
Okay.
off the framework because it's going to be emptied. So, because you're not going to have the need for so many employees during the winter time, you're not going to be running things in and out on an ongoing basis in the main storage area. And the problem with expansion of the main storage area, if you look at it, is you've got a lot of things going on. You do have outdoor storage of materials. So it's push here and pull the
Okay.
air and they're tight.
Mr. Lowe, does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Yeski.
I would suggest that Mr. Harris go first.
Okay, Mr. Harris goes first.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate the landscaping plan that's provided qualitatively. Obviously, the hydrodynamics of erecting that structure will change in that region, and you proposed a rain garden. it would be interesting to me, not this moment, but at some point, to understand more quantitatively the impact of the structure on those factors and, how the composition of the rain garden addresses that, and just to quantify that those things balance out. That was my comment.
And Tony, we would be addressing that, we would be addressing that as part of a formal application. Right, Tony?
Thank you.
Mr. Yeski, are you ready to go now?
I'm ready.
Okay.
There's a couple issues. Let's go on the storage thing first. So as I understand it, we're going to put in the condition, there's going to be no trucks or carts with gasoline. It's basically metal plows. That's it. It's not meant to be used frequently because it's only for winter equipment, but they're not gas powered. There's no chemicals. There's no repair and maintenance going to be happening in this storage. I could go on and on, but is that true? Is what I'm saying accurate? in
I
terms of
think
the
that the only comment we would make to that is, I think that they do have some small trucks that are primarily designed for winter maintenance that would be stored there.
So the trucks are going to have fuel. They're going to oil. They're going to be maintained there.
DJ,
When you truck,
go ahead.
These would be small John Deere type little dump trucks on the back could be stored up there. I wanted to point out that there's no water or power to this area. It's just a former compost pile that's now flat and is ideally suited for placing this.
Are there any chemicals at any level going to be stored there?
No, they're under strict control over at the main maintenance building. The application of chemicals on a golf course is
There's no construction
vehicles guarded.
There's no construction vehicles to be stored there, right?
They to my knowledge, they don't have the kind of, I don't know what you mean by construction. If you're talking about a backhoe on tracks, no, they don't have that. It's not up there now.
Interesting, because every day I see a backhoe come from there and come down and they go back and forth. I'm not sure what that's all about. But we're going to put some conditions. But let's talk about the bigger issue, which is the noise issue.
Okay.
This club has spent a long time with a lot of construction going on for years. First, the golf course was totally redone, and then you put an irrigation system in that seemed to go forever. And now you're dealing with a pool, and I was referring to the pool site, not the tennis. And in there, we do talk a lot about no pickleball. And then, Mr. Tefts, you sent in some 2016 documents. Is that right?
2016 documentary. Well, the documents I sent in were the approvals for the tennis bubble.
Right.
Which I thought was what you were referring to. So if I was,
yeah, I didn't read it, but what's it in essence say? What is there? You have the text. I don't have it in front of me.
I do.
The bubble was approved for seasonal use. And there was one condition that the bubble was not to be used past 10 p.m.
Right. But it's a tennis bubble, right?
It's a bubble.
No. What's it say? What's it say?
It's a tennis court bubble. It covers the tennis court.
It's a tennis court bubble. Tennis. There's no referring to pickleball. And you just said it didn't exist when these documents were approved. They're two radically different sports.
No, I said it didn't exist. I'm sorry, that's not what I said.
Fine.
I said that the tennis court, at the time, the tennis courts at that location were approved. There was no such thing as pickleball. At the time, and then what I said is that, in fact, pickleball was being played on those courts prior to the approval of the tennis court. That's what I was saying. But the tennis bubble, I apologize. But I could be wrong, but inside the bubble, I doubt you can hear the pickleball players playing pickleball in that dome during while it's up. I don't think that's possible. It's noisier out there with the
Chair, just let me know when I'm allowed to talk. I guess I'm not really allowed to talk at this point.
Okay, Mr. Tessie, I think this is a good opportunity for you to allow Mr. Yeski.
I didn't know I cut him off. I thought I was answering.
You did.
Cut me off 3 times.
Yeah.
Listen, tennis and pickleball are radically different. They didn't exist in 2016. This is an approval for a tennis court. That means it's a tennis sport, not a pickleball. It's radically different. We've had a series of these applications around town, and we've told clubs no pickleball. You're doing it. That's nice. We said in the pool, the new pool, no pickleball. I don't see how those documents are relevant. You're changing the sport used in those. And by the way, it isn't just the bubble. There's a separate tennis court next to is in the pool complex that pickleball is being played. So, and it's outdoors. The bigger issue is this club has always been a great neighbor. It's a really great neighbor, but over the last 5 years, it just keeps imposing on the neighborhood noise levels and construction that I don't think the management is sensitive to, and I guess we're pointing that out. The storage I get, and we can condition that. The pickleball I do not get. It doesn't belong here in a neighborhood. If you would like pickleball, do it in your backyard. And I don't believe that the tennis documents you show cover pickleball, period. So that's my belief. We can talk it through forever, but I think the club is making a big mistake from a neighborhood standpoint, particularly from a special permit standpoint, that they continue to play pickleball, period.
Okay. I'd like to go review the timing of all the decision letters and what's in them, if we could get all of the different decision letters, because the club has done a few. Anything else, Mr. Yeski?
No, I think that's enough.
All right.
Don't you?
No, Ms. Jones.
So this is proposed to be just a seasonal facility, that it would only be covered in the winter,
covered in the summer,
covered in the
May I
summer.
respond to that at this time? Should I respond now, Madam Chair?
I think I just answered. I said it's going to be there in the summer.
No, not necessarily true as currently presented. There's a cost involved in taking down the structure every year. So the
Mr. Tessie
addition,
represented it was coming down every year.
no,
said that
I've
to
never
us.
said that. I said it's a
No, I'm
seasonal
sorry.
stru-
Mr. Tessie was very clear with us in the beginning. We have it on we've got a
No,
recording. Okay, no,
let me say,
do
I
not
agree.
interrupt, Mr. Tessie.
I'm
do
saying
not
I
interrupt.
agree with, I
No,
agree
no,
with
no,
you. I
no,
said
no.
that. I know, I'm just trying to say, yes, I did say that. And if I misspoke,
Okay, so Mr. Tessie, Mr. DeAndrea, who has now been muted because he's been interrupting the commission the whole time. He told us that it was going to come down every season. You're saying, no, that's expensive. Quietly to myself, as Mr. Tessie was speaking, I had Ms. Jones's question, which is, that's going to be expensive and a hassle for the club. You were talking about a permanent structure that is going to be used seasonally, but it's going to be a hassle to take it down. Right. That's really what I thought you meant. And I thought if we trotted out there in the off season, we would find it. Having Ms. Jones, pardon me for a second, but I'm going to, no, you go ahead and then I've got a follow on to that. Go ahead.
Okay, so it is, the plan is, this is just a one answer question. The plan is to currently use it in the summer or in the winter, sort of what grouping, what timing
Now,
of the year?
Mr. DeAndrea and Mr. Tessie, now you may unmute, but Mr. DeAndrea, go ahead.
In my discussions with the superintendent of the course, and for the purposes it was originally intended to serve, it's to provide temporary seasonal storage of equipment that's not used in that season. So during the summer, you would see things that were used in the winter. All right. If you happen to store a pile of sand, would that be a problem? Maybe not. If you stored a pallet of driving range mats, is that a problem? That's the idea. It's open-ended, so it'll be exposed to weather conditions. So you're not going to put things in there that would be spoiled or soiled or ruined by weather. But that was the intent, to have a structure that would have use during the off season, whether it's winter or summer. And that was the intent of what the superintendent had hoped for. There are no
Okay, so let me.
constant in and out. It's not a storage facility.
Enough, Mr. DeAndrea. We got it.
Okay,
You
thank
answered
you.
it. Let her ask her question.
So for example, in the winter, you're not cutting the lawn or you're not cutting the golf course. He might be planning to store equipment that would be used to keep the golf course trimmed, which might have, going back to Mr. Yeski's question, might have gas and oil and those kinds of things. And then conversely, in the summer, you might be storing little mini snow plows, or would you be storing salt or sand that you might use for the road so that your members could get there? I'm just trying to understand, is this a very open-ended thing, or what kind of restrictions have they thought through these things that might be restricted with regard to this?
Mr. DeAndrea, go ahead. Mr. DeAndrea, if you would respond.
We know now to provide a more detailed summary of what, when, and where. Things like sand for roadways would not be stored there because you can't get there during the winter. It's that remote. That's number one. I mentioned there is no water or power there. We wouldn't be storing a lawnmower. That's very expensive, and it would be in the shop, probably being sharpened and ready for the summer season. So those kinds of things, delicate instruments, wouldn't be up there. All right, but you did hit on it. Plows, that come off of a small truck, those would be possibly stored up there. You want to keep the main maintenance building accessible for the delicate work, if you will. I think also that to keep in mind, if the commission would, the current maintenance facility is more centrally located in a neighborhood, whereas this is off in the back portion of the course, and definitely screened by natural vegetation, except for a couple of months. And I think that would be something to consider. But we will outline more exactly what equipment might be up there and when and how often. I wanted to say, it's not a warehouse where you're in and out picking up equipment every day. That's not what this is proposed to. The men are staged over at the main maintenance facility, and from there they are dispersed over the course. They don't meet and stage their work from up on top of the hill.
All right. Ms. Jones, does that answer your questions?
For now, thank you.
Mr. Lowe.
Yeah, sorry to beat a dead horse here, but logistically, where will these items be? Where will they be stored in the winter? They're going to be stored back at the main maintenance facility. These little plows and things that are only going to be used in the winter, and what allows them to be stored there in terms of space then, as opposed to during the summer? Or is it just the activity, the constant activity required by the summer activities and the machines and the mowers and all the rest of it that prevents them from having adequate space in the main maintenance facility?
So though I have a plow for our truck here at my office, it's in my garage here at my office. I wish I had another place to place it, because it takes up a lot of room and it's not something you can move easily. So if you have a couple of plows that go on pickup trucks during the winter, it would be nice if you could deposit them up in there undercover and out of sight. And, as I said, get it away from the more residential area around the current maintenance facility. So
I'm not sure you're answering. His question is, where will it be there all year, or will you get relocated?
No, it would be there seasonally, as I said, in the winter.
Okay, lay it out for us.
Yeah, we will. We're going to write it up.
What Ms. Jones asked for, Mr. Lowe's asking basically the same question. What's going to be in there?
Inventory. Yes, that's appropriate.
All right. Now, Mr. Lowe, anything else?
No, except that if I've been designated as the hook here, we're running way over. But let's hear more from my colleague, Mr. Yeski, please.
No, we're running over, and that's my rule. So I have one quick question maybe Patrick can answer. Who filed the complaint on this shed anyhow? It wasn't, do you,
Don't go there.
Well, I can't answer. I don't know the name, but I believe
And I wouldn't, it was John Smith, a neighbor, you know, I wouldn't want to go there.
well, I
would-
thought that was all public record. Okay, good.
It may be public record, but we don't. If
We're
somebody
over, we're
complains-
over.
Okay.
I'm done.
Okay, let me just, as long as we're on this topic, I just want to check some things with Patrick and here and Tracy as well. When they filled out the site plan application form, from what I'm understanding at this point, the tenty thing stays up all the time. They're not going to take it down.
Well, I
Okay,
yeah, that's my understanding from the script.
that's what Mr. DeAndrea has said. Mr. DeAndrea, if that is the case, I believe that your site plan application form is incorrectly filled out because you don't show on everything. And that's my question to you. Are you including everywhere the change? You have no changes in some of this data. And I just want to make sure this is now something that impacts your coverage, your lot coverage, your building coverage, et cetera, and potentially your green area. So I just want to make sure that you do fill it out correctly. The second thing is, you said you had the wetlands approval, that they have signed off on you. They have approved the planting of the arborvitae.
Yes, we have a
Okay.
permit, yes.
All right, you have a permit on that with the conditions. When you file, we will, of course, want to see that. When you spoke with DPW drainage, did you get that? Do you have actually an approval for a drainage plan already?
The wetlands permit process involved DPW review. We had an extensive review with DPW to demonstrate that we didn't change any coefficients in the area. We went through numerous reviews of Google photos and other photos
All right.
that were in support of that. So in conjunction with the permit, the DPW issued an approval for what
All
we
right.
were proposing. In short
Okay,
answer
I
to your
just
other
want to make
question-
sure, just answer my question.
I am,
know,
I'm trying to.
I just want a yes or no answer. Has DPW approved your drainage plan?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
in fact.
All right, thank you. Ms. Kulikowski.
DPW does the same reviews for wetlands that they do for us.
So
Yes.
it is approved. The DPW has approved the drainage plan that they proposed for the addition of this amount of impervious surface.
May I?
That
Yes, of course.
I would have to say yes if that's the question.
That's my question.
Right.
Okay, understood. So, we have wetlands, we have DPW, we are looking for the exact use. I have a question, if it's gonna be up all the time, why don't they just build something? Why build a tent that's going to have a short life and have to be replaced? I would think that that would be nicer, but your call. Okay, any other further questions? Okay, before we move on, I've got one other thing, which is Patrick or Tracy, whomever, I think we want to see the history of the approvals because of this issue that came up with the pickleball. I know that Mr. Yeski raised it specifically with Burning Tree at one point, but he has been on the commission for how many years, Mr. Tessie? Mr. Yeski?
10 years.
Mr. Yeski? 10 years. So somewhere in that time frame, I know he's talked about it. Mr. Leroux.
We have gone through it. I think Mr. Tessie pointed out the issue is that some of the records are in zoning board of appeals and not our office, so we haven't gone over across the hall, so to speak, and done that dive.
Yeah. Just the question of, and I assume the last thing is that if wetlands is requiring screening and a neighbor complained about the structure, it is because they were able to see it. And if they were able to see it, you might want to consider additional screening before you come into us. That's all I got. I think we've got a summary, what you're going to be doing. Okay. With that, does anybody from the public wish to comment on the application at Burning Tree? Anybody from the public? Burning Tree. temporary, not so temporary structure, permanent structure made out of fabric. All right, no comments from the public. With that, we look forward to seeing you when you're back. And Mr. Tessie, you could have unmuted, by the way. I only muted you because they were both of you talking at the same time. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All righty. And now we go to Sacred Heart, which will probably.
Did we want to go back to that other one?
Okay, is anybody here from Club Pilates? Kindly raise your virtual hand if you are here from Club Pilates. Club Pilates, 1381 East Putnam Avenue. Is anybody here? Nope. Okay, so let's go on to Sacred Heart STEM. I assume nobody's joining Ms. Cronin?
I will give that to her if she wants to bring people.
I will ask her. Somebody else has their hand up, Ms. Cronin. Rich Bernero?
Yeah, you can bring him up. He's the CFO of Sacred Heart.
Okay. Okie dokie.
We have our architect here too, Maria Baptista from Perkins Eastman. I'm not sure if she needs to talk, but you can bring her up.
Sure. She came. Okay. So with that, oh, I love your background, Mr. Bernero. Sorry. It's great.
Thank you.
Very on brand.
I tried using Town Hall and it just didn't work so great, me sitting on the lawn. Okay. So with that, if you don't mind, Ms. Cronin, 26,000 square foot addition. This is to construct your STEM facility. You will demolish one of the faculty housing cottage. That faculty member will be relocated elsewhere on the campus, so you will retain housing for that person. You're on an 109-acre property. You have plenty of FAR, and none of your zoning statistics are affected in a manner that would require a variance. Is there anything specific that you would like to ask us, or can I turn it over to the commission for the questions and comments?
No, go ahead. I'll answer questions. But
Questions
can you just make me able to share my screen in case I'd like to?
Only Patrick can do that.
It takes a magic word too.
Oh no, we let Michelle drive.
All right, Nick's already got his hand up, so we're going to let Mr. McRae go with questions.
Ms. Cronin, the gray duplex, that's the building that's being demolished, or is there another one?
Duquesne,
Yeah, I think that Rich can answer that, but I think the name must have changed at some point. But yes, the gray duplex.
That's it. That's the residence, if you would. Okay.
Yeah, the pinkish gray duplex, correct.
Right. I don't remember. Is this site on a treatment plant?
Yes,
it is.
It is.
Would you have to upgrade that at all?
No.
Because you're not changing enrollment.
Correct.
You are going to have, people are going to go to the bathroom with the same frequency. They may use the lab equipment, the labs will have sinks in them.
Correct. And right now they have a storage tank, like most other schools that have science labs on a treatment plant. So when you use chemicals, it goes down and it's held in a tank, and then that's carted away, basically.
And the Gillespie wing is being renovated?
Correct. Okay. So the science classrooms will move over to the STEM building, and then they'll renovate Gillespie primarily for visual arts classrooms.
Okay. It's an interior renovation, anything on the outside?
Just interior renovation.
Okay.
Anything else? Mr.
Yeah, at the moment I'm good, I think.
Okay. Mr. Yeski.
Yes, this has become a standard suggestion. You need to talk to the fire department. I assume in the science building, you're going to have experiments. Let's put it that way. And they've gotten tougher in terms of internal safety devices. So maybe your architect already knows all that. They've also gotten tougher on some water issues. I don't think you'll have one of those because it's not an additional people or anything like that. but just go talk to the fire department about your plans, unless the architect already has.
We have actually. We met
Good.
with Fire Marshal Dawson a couple months ago, actually.
And did he ask any questions like that? Like, what are your operations?
Yeah, no, we're aware of the water issue. There's sort of, I'm sure as you guys know from Central and some of the other projects, there's a lack of water, I would say, from Aquarian. So we are planning on having to install a water tank
Some kind of cistern.
for sprinkler system.
And how about experiments? Because they also have asked for upgrades to fire suppression, things like that inside the building. Maybe you're not doing like a Bunsen burner type thing that we used to do in high school. Maybe it's all done AI now and you visualize it. You don't have to worry about fire and stuff. But did you come up with that at all? Did they say anything about that?
We didn't talk about that specifically. The building is going to be sprinklered. I mean, I know when I was in school too, they had like the special shower in case you used like.
Yeah.
Oh, now they have hoods on. There are required in Central Middle separate hoods in what we used to call home economics. You're not allowed to call that anymore. It's some other term. But if you have Bunsen burners, anything grease, any kind of an experiment, they get tougher on those. So just a thought.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate that. Well, go ahead, Rich.
I was gonna say we've covered that. We just have one chemistry lab. The other one's biology, physics, makerspace. So there's really one main one that has gas. In Gillespie, we currently have shutoff valves for the gas, so we have redundancy efforts. So we'll definitely, through the code consultant with the fire marshal, ensure that any and all safety matters are addressed. We also temp store all chemicals in a separate locked room in compliance with OSHA and other federal requirements. And as Michelle said, at the end of the year, we retain a third-party firm to take away any chemicals.
Oh, to remove it.
Yeah, to remove it.
Once a year. Okay.
The suggestion is, I know you're going to conform to code, but they seem to ask stuff above code. So please just go talk to them. It sounds like you are. Great.
Central Middle had some issues, as you may recall, and had to install the cisterns. And we also had that cistern requirement very near you, at 1165 King, adjacent to you actually. And they were, it was a surprise at the end. Anything else from the commission? I had asked yesterday, I was just curious, under the courtyard as you're going in the main entrance of the STEM center, that is just fill under it?
Yeah, it's just going to be backfilled.
It's not
where there is a basement in the STEM building, but I think the area you were talking about under that patio, that's just backfilled. It's not.
That's just backfilled. I was just curious because it looked like, wow, that could be some extra. You could put the bad people in there and could make it a dungeon.
We'll put like a window with little bars.
I'm always looking for usable space.
Solitary confinement, no windows.
This seems to fit well in your existing footprint. It seems like the connection as well. Nick was interested in seeing. Nick, you had a question yesterday about the bridge and the connection.
Oh, I think I figured it out. I think this is up to ARC because to me a kind of an odd situation where the connection goes to the roof and then you go down into the building.
Yeah,
as opposed to right into the building, but it's let ARC. That's what they're paid for.
Thank you. It's at the end of the hallway in the existing building. It's kind of the perfect place to make the connection, and we need it to be a certain height anyway to let fire trucks go underneath. So typically that's 14 feet, but the fire marshal now actually is requesting 18, which is a bit above the code. So just where it comes in, and then because we're building into the hillside, it just makes the most sense to connect at that level.
Yeah.
And are you planning to go to ARC? I don't have a strong feeling on this one. ARC first or second?
Second, I think actually I would like to see this more
You want
fleshed
to
out.
see it first? Okay, you want to see it fleshed out?
The site landscaping, yada yada yada, before they run off.
Yeah, I think it's.
Well, we were kind of I felt that we were kind of hoping the other way, which is what I thought Mr. Macri had just been saying.
I was kind of going there too.
That we could go to ARC
because it's low visibility. It's got minimum visibility, but from public, and we let let ARC take a design look at it. It isn't a highly visible building. Let's get the design review done. And then that gives them time to work the fire and other issues, and they could come back to us. Could you live with that, Mr. McRae?
No, but it is what it is. You
Would
say
you,
if
would you
you,
like
if you,
me to, would you like me to click through any of the images I have?
no,
Why don't
it's
we?
all right.
Okay.
No. Okay.
You say,
so
go to ARC, I will concede. It is what it
You'll
is.
concede. So you can live with it
Okay.
because, you know, we're not
Oh,
gonna
no, no,
overrule
I'm
you.
not going to live with it. I just don't want to have the argument. So we're good.
Okay, you don't want
I
to have the
appreciate it just because we are getting into the summer, so it just helps us from a scheduling standpoint
All
to
right.
kind of get in there.
All right. You are taking the one risk because you just don't want Mr. McRae to call me up after you present and say, I told you they should have come to us for.
No, you're gonna love it. We've got a
Mouth
good
is
team. You've
shut.
got Perkins Eastman on it. You're
All
gonna
right.
love it.
Okay.
It's gonna blend with the rest of the campus. So
I try not to overrule if anybody has a strong feeling about something.
and it is just, I was going to point this out, but I'll just say it as an afterthought, I guess. It is a little bit smaller. I was including the basement in the floor area numbers that I gave you, which aren't going to actually contribute to FAR. So
Those are the grade.
right. So it's about, with the removal, it's going to be about 18,000 net additional square feet.
Yeah. I think the key is it is it's fairly tucked away.
It is.
And this gives you a chance to work some of the other departmental comments that you may have. And honestly, I think it's a very exciting, I know it's not a land use point, but it's an exciting opportunity for Sacred Heart because I would love to see more of these. I'm showing my bias in women's education.
Especially in the sciences. It's,
in the sciences, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Agreed.
I know, Dennis, but
it's
really
I've
important.
got a whole list of stuff I'd love to have with the male side. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
But you're absolutely
All
right.
right.
Daughters,
Okay.
granddaughters. they need to
Scientists
get
in
input.
general are good.
Okay, so basically, where our comments are, the most important one was beware of fire department requirements. Be prepared to address this issue with ARC, which is what we'll be looking to hear the comments from. And one of the reasons I wanted it to go there first about the access, about how the bridge is going to go and how that's going to work and why you went there. I think we're going to comment to you maybe on planting if, you know, as you go forward, how important that is to us. And I don't have anything else. Anybody else? No. Okay. Anybody from the public wish to comment on the application of the trustees of the Convent of Sacred Heart for an 18,000 square foot FAR calculation addition to build a STEM center on their campus? Anybody from the public, please raise your virtual hand. Sacred Heart for the construction of a STEM building. All right, I see no comments, so we look forward to seeing you when you come back. I assume that'll be fairly soon.
Hoping to submit at the end of July, if all goes well.
Okay. Yeah. Don't forget, we only have the 1 August meeting. Okay, thank
I
you
know.
very much to all three of you.
All right, thank you guys very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Okay, and with that, we go to our next discussion item, which is 10 Mason Street, and we have to find Mr. Tessie again. And his hand is up. All right. All right. All right. Our next application is, next discussion item is 10 Mason Street for a pre-application review. This is to renovate the existing 4-story building, which currently exceeds 40,000 cubic feet, and add 3 stories to the rear of the building and relocate a portion of the basement office space from the existing building into the new addition. The property is 1.4477 acres. It's at 10 Mason Street, which is in the Central Greenwich Business and Central Greenwich Impact Overlay Zones. Mr. Tessie.
Thank you. Well, perfect summary. It's exactly what we're proposing to do. And We also, as noted, and as was discussed yesterday, are planning to have a floor plan layout that would provide for, I would call a material reduction in the number of employees in the building compared to what was indicated in the plans of Bank of New York Mellon, and I believe also Putnam Trust Company, the prior owner and occupant for the what I call the merger. I believe it was a merger with BY and Mellon. The addition is to the rear of the building as shown on the plans. The streetscape won't, so will be enhanced as we've indicated in terms of green area. But the building structure or bulk seen from the Mason Street side looking west will be as exists today, but our client will be proposing a change in the overall architecture of the building. They're going through different what I would call alternatives with the client to arrive at a final decision as to what would be presented. In that regard, maybe this is a good time to ask with respect to ARC, since it came up at the end of the last discussion. You have nothing to say now.
We're gonna cede to Nick
thing?
on this one. He already said yesterday he would like to see it first.
That's
For the
fine.
commission to see it first. On this one, I would like to cede to Nick. Because this is a highly visible location.
Yes, it's different.
So a very different situation. Nick said it yesterday. We were talking about the look of it on the facade, and he mentioned at the briefing that he would like to see it before it goes. So he has so we would like to. Anything else, Mr. Tessie?
No, as you all noted, I believe Mr. Macri did that, going to be eliminating one driveway, creating as part of the green area enhancement. The driveway is the northernmost driveway leading into the property. Old teller stations were removed a long time ago, a number of years ago there, which don't have any real architectural merit. So it's nice to see those gone from an architectural or view plane standpoint. The parking is remaining essentially the same as it's been, I think since 1962, about 59 parking spaces or so. Reducing the number of employees obviously reduces the number of parking spaces in terms of need. The property is legally non-conforming as to parking. I'm not aware of any recent issues on that site regarding parking, but we all drive by it pretty regularly. But we're going through a transition now, obviously, where our client is working on the interior of the building, and there's minimal office activity. I believe just two floors are now being utilized by Bank of New York as a holdover tenancy. The actual change of ownership has in fact occurred.
Okay. Mr. McRae has his hand up. Would you go ahead, Nick?
Mr. Tessie, the adjacent parking lot, the one with the angled spaces, that's included in the parking count for the building?
Yes, I believe that's been the way since 1960.
None of that is shared with any of the surrounding buildings. So it's all, you've got more than enough.
Well, they've made do of it through all these years, but there's no shared parking. There's no restaurant parking.
So on and so forth. Okay, great.
Plaza, as we know, has plenty of spaces.
Yeah. And that driveway is going to be completely removed and re-landscaped. That's the intention.
It'll be re-landscaped. I think some mechanical generator may be proposed in there. That's going to take up a small portion of it and would be screened.
Mm-hmm. That's proposed or existing?
No, proposed as part of their overall site
Right.
plan.
Yeah. So the generator, the generator, the transformers, all that stuff that's out there is going to stay against the building.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Mr. Yeski.
Yeah, I guess a couple questions, Mr. Tessie. Does this zone permit retail? There's no retail there now, right? And are you planning retail, and what's the impact on parking if you are?
Our client who's purchasing the property has purchased it for his to be occupied only by his company. Ultimately, there's that short-term lease with BY and Ellen. I can't say it. Anyway, BYM. I just call
BNY.
it BNY. Thank you. They have, I think it's up to 5 years, and occupying 2 floors. I think it reduces to 1. But the idea is that our clients who are already in Greenwich and own another office building, but they need more space. They're growing, and so when this opportunity came about to buy this building, they felt it met their needs and their future needs. So I think they will grow into it, but they said ultimately they would like to have, a seating plan, because you like to see a seating plan. That would be growing into. It may very well be filling up quickly.
There's no
but
retail there now, right?
No, there's none.
And there's none planned.
No, yes, to make it
Okay.
clear, we're happy to make it that you state that there will be no any conversion to retail without your approval. And I don't envision that happening during my lifetime. Hopefully yours.
Okay. Boy, can I quote you on that?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I was wrong before about seasonality, but I'll try this one. 1 out of 2.
Well, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Couple of things. So Mr. Tessie, when you come back, when you do the final, I think we will want to potentially talk to the architect, because people are interested in how that facade is going to look.
Right.
So
The architect
people-
is here. Sorry, I promised myself.
Don't want to talk to
not
them now.
Yeah, okay.
Don't want to talk to them now. I'm
Okay.
sorry, but we do want to hear from you when you come back. Second thing is, I just wanted to validate and just double check all your zoning data. I was a little, I'm going to check it again when you come in with a final. It's easier, but just check all the zoning data. I'm understanding that the way you're doing it, you are not increasing any nonconformity, but I just wanted to double check that. The zoning, if you would talk to your client, you retain a certain amount of square footage, which would have a higher number, it could accommodate a higher number of employees. So we would probably at some point condition you that you not increase your employees beyond X level, which would be what the parking can accommodate. So just, if you would just make sure your client is aware that we're going to ask, hey, okay, so you're reducing to, I think it's 150 employees, but given the amount of parking that you have, that we would request that we would condition you to never increase beyond X that can be accommodated.
Yeah.
Those are the only things I can think of.
Right, thank you. No, that we understood that was being brought up with.
Yep.
This is the current plan. I think we would, we talked about it, so we're aware of it. We'll ask the client to make sure it dives at what he's comfortable with. And I would say that anything like that obviously would have to be reviewed and approved by the commission, and parking is going to be an essential factor. 20 years from now, who knows?
You don't know.
But we fully appreciate that. So it's understood the concern.
Yeah. Okay. Any comment, anything else from the commission on this? All right. The zoning, I wasn't quite tracking, and I can't figure out why. So I'm curious. I want to see it all laid out. Anybody from the public wish to comment on 10 Mason Street? This is a discussion item. This is to add a second building behind the existing one. It will be a lower building, as the existing one is non-conforming as to height. This is to add a second building at 10 Mason Street. Any comments on that from the public? I see no hands. Okay.
Okay.
So with that, Mr. Tessie, we'll see you when you come back.
Okay, just a quick couple
Yeah.
points, right?
Yeah.
Our addition is going to
Be conforming for height.
be conforming to height. Obviously, we're expanding the building footprint, but well below what's allowed, given the amount of area we have.
0.3, that you're not exceeding the 0.3.
We technically we're decreasing one nonconformity, which is less people, less parking, so
Right.
that's a decrease in that nonconformity.
Staff is going to
Thank you.
ask you to show us, I just remember how we always ask you for that table. Staff is going to ask you to show us the decrease in the parking nonconformity.
Yeah, it's math, but that's
All
fine.
right.
And staff will obviously do a dive into.
And if
I
you would do it with Tracy math, that would be great.
With Tracy, what'd you say?
Tracy math as opposed
Tracy
to
math.
John, Tracy math.
You always like the way Mr. Bristol does those charts, so I always turn it over to him, but
All right.
I'll
Okay.
defer to Keith.
Tracy math is good too.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Tessie.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Bye-bye. I'd like to move approval of the May 12th, 2026 minutes. Do I have a second?
I'll second it, but we still have a discussion item?
Well, we've asked 3 times. Should we ask one more time?
Sure.
Is anybody here from Club Pilates? Club Pilates, is anybody here? Kindly raise your virtual hand. Club Pilates, 1381 East Putnam Avenue. Okie dokie. Did anybody miss the May 12th meeting? I forgot to look it up. No, okay. Mr. Lowe has seconded the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I
Aye.
hereby move move the appointment of Eric Dalsky to the ARC committee, Architectural Review Committee. Would I have a second, please? And then we can discuss it.
I'll second it. Yeah.
Okay, I think I heard Dennis. So Dennis has seconded. Any discussion?
Am I allowed to vote
Seems like
on
a
this?
very,
Yeah, sure. Tracy,
For a term to end on October 19th, 2028.
wait, it's not 2 years. I thought it was 4.
It is part of a 4-year term that started in October of 2024. Bianca has done all the research checking, so this would be a term
Ah,
on
thank
October
you.
19th, 2028.
Okay, October what?
19.
19th.
2028. Okay, whose term is he filling?
Yeah, that I can't tell you.
Gotcha.
It actually goes back to a 2020 term, so
I
it
thought it
predates
was
me.
really cool. Okay, is it okay if we let everybody talk, even if not everybody votes? Yeah, right? Yeah, okay. Mr. Yeski,
no, I think Eric sounds like a thoughtful person, very professional, into the whole green environment, could bring a lot of new thoughts, works outside of Greenwich, grew up in Greenwich, wants to stay in Greenwich. Those are the kind of people I think we're looking for.
okay? Mr. Lowe,
Yeah, I thought he was good. I don't know what else we would ask for, and unless the ARC surfaces something, I think
well, he came from Hine, but Nick has a concern and he'll raise it, but yeah.
Well, Nick,
He came from Hine.
Nick is more thoughtful than
I
I
think
am.
it's kind of thing. I think actually, for me, being overly qualified is a great idea, but I think in this case, actually, it's a recommendation from the chair.
Mhm.
And through our interview yesterday, he seems very enthusiastic. I think actually throwing somebody, feet first into a committee like this actually will be the telltale. If it works out, he's contributing. That's great.
Trial by
If
fire.
not, we'll know right away. Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Brooks. I mean, Mr. Harris. See, that's why I always
Yeah,
call him just
we'll be
Brooks.
interviewing again very soon if it doesn't work.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
Oh, you're a yes. You like him.
Yeah, I like him.
Okay.
I like him.
Nick had raised that there wasn't enough depth in architectural background, but the thing is, we do need the green background, the planting background. And we also could use a graphics person, but hey, there it is. So
maybe we suffer
based on-
one less perspective from an architectural perspective.
we're not supposed to say that stuff in front of Nick.
All right.
Ouch.
Don't,
Ouch.
ouch. Don't say that in front of Nick.
I think there was a second on that motion.
Yes.
There was a
Moving
second
on.
on that motion.
Yeah, we
but
had it
was
already.
from Yeski. Yeah, there was a second from Yeski. Can we do it by voice vote or do we have to do roll call? There's
Aye.
voice vote.
You don't have to do roll call for appointments like this, no.
Aye.
Okay, everyone in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, everybody's good. Okay, with that, we are good.
Lafayette.
But yet. Oh, thank you. I was about to go home. All right, let's do Lafayette.
I've got some news for you. You are home.
Okie doke, Lafayette.
Okay.
Mr. Secretary, could we have a
37 Lafayette
motion?
Place, final site plan, special permit PLPZ 2026-191. The applicant is seeking approval to construct a 1,100 square foot addition, creating an indoor playground on a 1.112 acre property located in the RMF zone. That's a oldie. Whereas the required property came before the commission as a pre-application at the 5/27/26 public hearing under file PLPZ 2026-189. The property has a non-conforming side yard setback. The applicant has indicated there will be no change to the number of existing teachers, administrators, or enrollment at the nursery school. Excuse me. The applicant has indicated that there will be no change to parking configuration or daily vehicle volumes. Commission finds that a landscape plan as required per section 617 of the BZR is not required. The proposed non-conforming side yard setback of 30.5 feet can be permitted per section 6141A2A of the BZR, as it does not increase the degree of nonconformity and does not increase the floor area ratio and building coverage beyond the maximum permitted in the zone, and does not fail to provide the required number of parking spaces per Division 15 of the BZR. ARC review of the project is not required. Conservation issue comments dated 6/4/26 indicating recommendations to the proposal. Zoning issue comments dated 6/4/26 indicating no issues with the project. Sewer division issue comments 6/8/26 requesting the applicant submit a signed letter of acknowledging the receipt of their P&Z comments. DPW engineering applicant has submitted a drainage exemption dated 4/28/26. Greenwich Fire Marshal issued comments dated 6/1/26 with no objection to the project, noting the proposed addition does not adversely affect existing fire department access and maintains acceptable access to the building. EMAC issued comments dated 5/15/26 indicating a favorable review. And Wetlands has issued a permit needs questionnaire dated 2/23/26 indicating no action required. Therefore, motion to approve the application for final site plan with the following conditions. Prior to CO, the applicant shall provide a revised site development plan showing playground equipment, sandboxes, and any outdoor activity or play structures. Prior to zoning permit, the applicant shall provide a revised site development plan indicating the proposed location of the two 6-inch DBH cherry trees designated for relocation. Prior to zoning permit, the applicant shall indicate on the site development plan a comprehensive tree protection plan for the existing 30-inch DBH cedars tree. Trees to be relocated only when the canopy is void of nesting birds. If at any time the 30-inch cedar tree fails during construction, the applicant shall replace the tree
Or
with,
after,
and
for 1 year after.
we'll talk about that in a second. And the applicant shall replace any tree indicated for relocation if the tree location fails, a minimum of 3-inch caliber. Per sewer division comments, the applicant has submitted by the skin of their teeth a letter dated 9/9/26 acknowledging comments. And the applicant shall address any and all outstanding or interdepartmental issues. So the cedar tree.
Wait,
I need a second.
Second.
I need a second. Okay.
So the
Mr.
cedar
Lowe has
tree.
seconded.
Question was, if the tree dies during construction or within 2 years, you said?
I said a year because they died
year?
from the root compression.
Okay. Would we replace it with one more cedar tree or what?
Applicant to replace with at least one tree and to consider additional trees for replacement.
Native.
Native. Yeah. Okay. I love, Brooks, you're not seated. Sorry.
Oh, I can't talk at all?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Sorry.
So within a
Okay.
year, fails in within a year, a minimum of one tree.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
Applicant to consider a second. That applicant has been asked.
Second and possibly third, depending. Or do we
Possibly
just-
third. I like that. It has been requested to consider a second and possibly a third. Patrick, should we make that subject to some sort of inspection?
The tree life, I'm sorry, which part of that?
The number of replacements. How do we make sure that they've actually worked on getting us more than one?
Well, I think they would have to propose something if the tree was
Okay.
failing as a replacement plan, and we would consider it.
So prior to zoning permit, applicant to advise number of trees that would substitute should the cedar be lost. How about that? Next question. I know, Nick, I probably just missed this. Did you say that there is no increase in the nonconformity?
Yes, I did.
Okie dokie. I just wanted to make sure I think I zoned out.
You
we
got
have a
all the right
second?
language in.
I think
Okay,
I
okay.
seconded it, and now we can vote, right?
And now we can vote. Mr. McRae,
Aye.
Ms. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Lowe,
Aye.
Mr. Yeski,
Yeah, aye.
Albin is also aye, and with that, the motion passes 5-0. Okey doke. With that, we're done, right?
We
We can go
are-
home?
Yep.